Hey folks, Connor from Nice Wheels here, and today we're going to review the Vello Bike Plus, the lightest folding electric bike. So in this review, we'll talk about some of the specs and features on this bike. We'll go through the BitRide app that allows you to control some of your settings in the motor, and most importantly, we'll talk about how it rides. So the Vello Bike Plus is a very unique folding electric bike. It makes use of the Zehus Bike Plus all-in-one motor, and that means that the battery and motor are all stored right in this rear hub casing here. Now you also, for the US version, we have a bottom bracket sensor that's going to be taking your torque and cadence into effect, so it's got a very smooth response time for when the pedal assist kicks in. The motor is a geared hub motor and is a 250 watt nominally rated hub motor, and inside of that same motor casing you have a 160 watt hour battery. So the idea with the Zehus Bike Plus hub, obviously not to give you the most power and range, but to be a very lightweight system that allows for a very natural pedal assist feel. So there are a few iterations of the Vello Bike Plus that you can get, a couple different options. What I have in front of me now is going to be the steel frame with the belt drive. You can also get this in a chain drive, and they also make a titanium frame to even save more weight. Now this complete bike here is about 30 pounds or 31 pounds or so. The titanium frame is going to save you even more weight as well. So it's definitely one of the lightest electric pedal assist bikes that you can get. And it also folds down, and we'll go through that in a bit later. So taking a closer look at the drivetrain here, it's making use of the Gates carbon belt drive. So with this particular setup, you're looking at essentially a maintenance-free drivetrain on this bike. Now that does mean the bike is a single speed, but it is a pretty balanced gear where you're not really struggling too much at the start, and especially when you have the assist from the motor. And it lets you maintain a nice balanced cadence going at the cruising speed of about 15 miles an hour, which is kind of the max for this motor. So all Vello Bike Plus models come with Shimano hydraulic disc brakes, and that's using 160 millimeter disc rotors on the front and the rear. So definitely great stopping power for the stop and go kind of city style riding that this bike is geared towards. So all Zehus bikes are usable with the BitRide app here. So when you create your account and log in, you can control all of the different settings to your motor directly via Bluetooth on your cell phone. So essentially your phone becomes your display. A couple different readouts here. The Vello Bike Plus does have slope detection, so we'll get to that and how that works with the Bike Plus mode in a bit. You have your trip distance down here, which is resettable by just holding the number down there. Give it a long press. The other readouts you have are your speed and even the motor power that the motor is outputting. On the top here is where you're going to scroll through a couple different settings. So the one I was just on here is turbo mode, and this allows you to quickly switch modes on the fly. E-bike mode is going to give you just below the max power that that turbo would give you. And then you have a couple different power saver modes as well. So when you have the first one here, it will kind of cut off the power at a certain speed. So you can customize it for longer range if you want. Number 3 in the kilometer mode being the highest level of efficiency, where it's going to really just get you enough power to get your momentum and then kind of cut the battery off after that. Now this mode here is going to be the Bike Plus mode, which is what makes this motor so unique compared to a lot of other systems. So this will allow you to basically ride and maintain at least some of a charge level at all times. So the motor is looking for either when you're in a flat ground, maintaining a decent cruising speed, it'll have a light level of regen while you're pedaling, but then when it notices that you're on a hill and you see the slope percentage go up, it'll start to give you the assist based on the terrain and based on the speed that you're riding. So the system will kind of understand how you're riding the bike, and its goal is basically to maintain your charge level so that you don't really have to plug it in very often at all. You can come over to the left side of the screen here, and you can hold down this lock button. And what this is going to do is completely lock the motor wheel. It's basically going to give you a lot of resistance, since this motor does have regenerative capabilities. So it's going to basically turn that regen capability all the way up. So the bike is essentially unrideable, and it's kind of a struggle to push around also. So this is nice as a cafe lock, basically. If you're just going to make a quick stop in somewhere, you can lock the bike up on your phone. Of course, if you're going to lock the bike outside long term, you definitely want a regular lock on there. But for those quick trips in the store, this will definitely do the job for you. So now we'll go into the fold of the Vello Bike Plus. Now the rear end of the bike is held together by a pretty strong magnet. So you're going to want to have your foot on the bottom of the frame here and just kind of pull up with your hands on the seat. And you can let that rear wheel just swing under here. Now once you get to this position, you'll want to undo the seat post and let that get all the way down, because that's going to act as your stand once the bike sits like so. Now you'll come around to the other side because you have also a folding fork on this model, and you sort of have a Brompton-esque clamp here that you'll loosen up that's holding the fork in place, but then you also have a safety pin as well. So you'll be pushing down on this button, pulling the pin out to the side, and now this fork is going to swing back. So you can lift up the fork a little bit, allow that to swing back, and then there's a magnet that will connect to the rear part of the frame, and you'll just need to push those together and of course make sure your pedal is out of the way before doing so. Once that snaps in, it's a very strong magnet, so that's not going anywhere. You'll notice that you'll get a little bit of lift coming over here, so don't let that worry you. The bike is still going to be held together just fine. Now, as the last couple of steps, you can raise the handlebar up, twist it to the side, bring it back down. And then these grips are also quick release, so you can open up these levers and let them hang off to the side as well to save you a little bit more space. And then the last thing would just be your right folding pedal. Although both pedals are folding, the right one is really the main one that's going to be sticking out, so you can save some extra space with that. But this is the complete folded package. And again, the bike is only 30 pounds, so it's really not that bad to carry. By far the easiest folding electric bike to carry around with you on a multimodal commute. The Vello Bike Plus is definitely one of the most unique bikes we've seen come through the shop, and it's also one of the most practical. Sometimes electric bikes can be tough to manage when you're living in a city and in tight spaces, and you need something like this that's both easy to maneuver on the road and easy to carry around with you off-road. The Zehus Bike Plus all-in-one motor is really a unique product out there. It's definitely meant to be a true pedal assist, and now it is spec'd to the European Pedelec 25, meaning it's going to go up to 25 kilometers an hour or 15 miles per hour. So really it's just there for helping you get started, maintain a nice cruising speed, and kind of takes away some of the worries that you have with a regular single speed bike. Things like starting up where you might have to grind on the gear a little bit to get your cadence going. It pretty much removes all of that from the equation and makes a single speed bike extremely practical. So you get the benefits of the low maintenance, but without any of the hassle of a single speed bike. The belt drive version of this is also great for those who don't want to have to worry about keeping themselves clean on their commutes, since you have no grease and no chain to worry about. And the belts also last for an extremely long time without ever needing to be replaced. So it's something that, as far as a no maintenance e-bike, this is going to be the closest thing you're going to get to that. One of the most unique things about this motor is that it is a geared motor that has regenerative features to it, which is something you really don't see on any other electric bikes out there. Generally, bikes that have regenerative features are going to be gearless direct drive hub motors, which are known for being quite large and heavy. Whereas this is an extremely lightweight package, and there's no resistance when you're pedaling after you cap out at the assisted speed of 15 miles per hour. So the bike itself will help you really get started, maintain a comfortable cruising speed, but if you want to pedal faster, you're really not limited by it at all, and the bike still feels very much like a normal bike. So it's really just supposed to be a very low-key, low-maintenance setup. And for getting around your city, it's definitely plenty of speed, especially with the stop and go of a city like New York. 15 miles an hour as the top assisted speed is perfectly fine. And you're not going to get a lighter weight electric folding bike than the Vello Bike Plus. The Bike Plus mode is also an incredibly unique feature that allows you to essentially maintain a charge level at all times. So if you're not looking to be boosted off the line every time and you want to ride this like a regular bike, you have that ability. You don't always have to plug it into the wall. You can put it into Bike Plus mode, and when you're cruising down hills or cruising on flat ground, the system's going to know to start giving a little bit of juice back to the battery. But when you need the extra help on the hills, then it's going to be there for you because it knows when you're climbing, and it's going to give you that assist when you need it. Overall, I've been really pleased with the Vello Bike Plus as a lightweight folding electric solution. It's something that is pretty easy to carry around on the train and also has a great ride quality to it with that folding frame design. Thanks so much for watching our review of the Vello Bike Plus. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as turn on those notifications to let you know when we release new e-bike videos.